Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my SmackDown review. And tonight's SmackDown was from the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, Louisiana. And of course, this was SmackDown's go-home show for Hell in a Cell, which is this Sunday. And as I say, tonight's SmackDown, I thought it was a decent show. It was much better than Raw last night. I have to say SmackDown did a decent job as a go-home show for Hell in a Cell. It was much better than what Raw did last night for their go-home show, which pretty much gave us nothing to be hyped about on their brand. But SmackDown interested in matches on the SmackDown side. I mean, we have The Miz and Maryse versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. We have Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So SmackDown has the interesting side of matches for Hell in a Cell. So the show opened up tonight with, since of course today is 9/11, we will never forget the tragedy that happened 17 years ago. So very, very sad still to this day. We're all going to remember it. I was, 9.5 years old when it happened 17 years ago. I just entered the 5th grade, and I did my story of 9/11. So if you want to watch it and know where I was on this day 17 years ago, definitely check out that video. Look back at my videos. So my thoughts and prayers go out to those, to the families of those victims that lost their lives. Thoughts and prayers go out to them. And the show opened up, of course, with a 11-bell salute in honor to all the people who passed away 17 years ago on 9/11. 2001. So we got that, and then after the bells were done, people were chanting USA, USA. It was pretty it was wonderful that it opened up, that they opened the show with that. And then we had the first match to start the show. It was Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Before the match started, Jeff Hardy gets on the mic, says, he talks about how we all face our demons and that he's overcoming his. And he says on Sunday he faces his most venomous demon, who is, of course, Randy Orton. He goes on to say that Randy Orton doesn't know what it's like to fight somebody that casts out their own demons. And he says he's going to beat Randy Orton until he fades away and classifies himself as obsolete. And then he goes on to say he has to cleanse a demon of his recent past, who is Shinsuke Nakamura. And after that, he's going straight to hell. So we got the match, Jeff Hardy versus Nakamura. It was a decent match. It was back and forth between them. The wrestling, of course, tonight, I'd say was better than last night on Raw. And Jeff Hardy ended up getting the win by disqualification because Randy Orton ended up coming out of nowhere. Jeff Hardy was on the top. It looked like he was going to go for the Swanton Bomb to Nakamura, and that's when Orton came in and knocked Jeff off the top. And Orton then started slamming Jeff Hardy's head into the steps outside. Orton then grabbed the chair, and he ended up hitting Jeff Hardy with a chair shot to his ribs, and also to his back. Then we had Randy Orton look like he was going for the RKO. Jeff Hardy ended up reversing it, and he went for, looked like he was going for the twist of fate. Randy Orton reversed that. And then we saw Jeff Hardy then picked up the chair, ended up hitting chair shots to Randy Orton, and it led to Jeff Hardy ended up hitting the twist of fate on Orton, and then the Swanton Bomb to Randy Orton. So that's pretty much what happened. But showed some hype for their match Sunday. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. But Jeff Hardy versus Nakamura was a decent match. But we all knew that Randy Orton was going to somehow come out and cause the match to be a disqualification. So then we had The Miz and Maryse. They were being interviewed. The Miz says, tonight Maryse is going to be taking the spotlight. And Maryse says it took Daniel Bryan 3 years to come out, to get back, into the ring. And Maryse says it took her 5 months to come back to the ring. And she thinks she's ready, to take on Brie Bella. And The Miz says, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are the sheer couple. And he ends up saying, Daniel Bryan can't beat him. So it was just that interview with them. So, but Brie Bella versus Maryse, ugh, where this is headed. Then we had AJ Styles end up cutting a promo, which happened earlier in the day. He ends up saying that Samoa Joe brought his family into this whole situation. And he goes on to say that after 20 years of friendship, he knows about Joe. He knows about Joe too, and that he has a family. Of course, Joe has a family, and Styles says he would never mess with another person's, family. He goes on to say that Joe's strength is, of course, running his mouth, and that also his strength is, piece of shit, or as he would say, garbage, because it's PG. And he says all of that would be Joe's weakness. Styles says at Hell in a Cell, the talking stops and the intimidation ends. And Joe, he ends up saying Joe got a dose of that when he talked about his family at SummerSlam. And Styles says that at Hell in a Cell, he's going to show Joe how phenomenal he is. And it was a decent promo from Styles. Really looking forward to their match, Styles and Joe. To say is the most interesting, But this is going to be the second time, they're having their match. Of course, took place at SummerSlam. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, go, have a second match. Then we had Charlotte being interviewed about her match against Sonya Deville. And Charlotte said, she asked Paige for competition because she thrives on it and she's competitive. And she goes on to say that, unlike Becky, she doesn't just talk about it. And that, she goes out every night and does it. And she says Becky will learn that it's easier to talk the talk than walk the walk. And she also says, she hopes that Becky is watching tonight. So that was that interview with Charlotte. Then we had the match, which was Charlotte versus Sonya Deville. Of course, Mandy Rose was outside of the ring. And the match itself, it was okay. It was an okay match. It was back and forth between Charlotte and Sonya. Charlotte ended up getting the win with the figure 8 on Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville ended up tapping out. Then you had after the match was over, Charlotte was making her way back up to the ramp. She ended up stopping to get a picture with these two girls there. Charlotte ends up getting attacked from behind from looked like a fan, but it was really Becky disguised as a fan. So Becky ends up attacking Charlotte. Becky ends up blocking in the disarmer on Charlotte. So the crowd really cheered for that. There were cheers for Becky, of course, because we all aren't going to boo Becky. So, but yeah, looking forward to seeing that match, Charlotte versus Becky. And I know WWE is going to favor to Charlotte and make Charlotte retain the SmackDown Women's Championship when it really should be on Becky. And I think this was the day 2 years ago when Becky won the SmackDown Women's Championship. So yeah, it happened on this day. Sorry about that, but I would say today was the day 2 years ago that Becky Lynch became the SmackDown Women's Champion, and I think it's about time she holds the title again. Hopefully at Hell in a Cell. But WWE, like I said, of course they're going to favor Charlotte, and they're going to make Charlotte still keep the SmackDown Women's Championship on her after Hell in a Cell. But who knows? As much as I want to see Becky be the champion again, because it's been a long 2 years, she deserves it. Becky deserves it. So then after Charlotte versus Sonya Deville, we had Samoa Joe end up cutting a promo. He ends up telling us a bedtime story. He called the story Night Night AJ. Basically, just trashing, Styles. And I really liked how the way, this whole promo was, where, it was like, the pictures that were in the book, they were like, sort of like animated, and then, they added in some effects to it, like live action and then effects in it, which were pretty cool. So, but I enjoyed this promo from Joe. Really liked it. Then Becky Lynch was trying to be interviewed, and Becky says, she was going to break Charlotte's arm after she takes the SmackDown Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell. So Becky didn't really want to be interviewed. So Then we had the tag team match, Rusev and Aiden English versus Rusev Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus, the Bar. Winner of this match will get to face the New Day this Sunday at Hell in a Cell for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. And the New Day had, of course, their commentary table out there. Before the match got underway, we saw Cesaro and Sheamus backstage, and Kofi Kingston was dressed up as Kramer Kingsman, and he ends up surveys the Bar in like their natural habitat, and he ends up saying he wonders if they're going to make like spoil milk and ruin everybody's fun. And the Bar end up walking off before he can actually head over and talk to them. It was funny though. It was funny. And so then we had the match, which was an enjoyable match between Rusev Day and the Bar. It was very entertaining. Rusev and Aiden English end up getting the win. Rusev ended up hitting the Machka kick on Sheamus because Sheamus was going for the Brogue kick to Rusev, but Aiden English ended up coming in, moving Rusev out of the way, and Aiden English ended up taking the Brogue kick Aiden English ended up taking the Brogue kick, which led to Rusev hitting the Machka kick on Sheamus. So Rusev and Aiden English, Rusev Day, they win. They get to face the New Day this Sunday at Hell in a Cell for SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So it's gonna be a decent match this Sunday against them, hopefully. So looking forward to that. All in all, it was an entertaining match between Rusev Day and the Bar. Then we had Andrade Cien Almas versus R-Truth. This was a short match, in my opinion. We had Carmella out there, also Zelina Vega, out there, of course, with Andrade Cien Almas. And Andrade ended up getting the win. Rolled up R-Truth because Zelina Vega got involved, and it led to Carmella coming in there, because Andrade and Zelina Vega were doing the famous when Andrade hangs on the the ropes, and led to Carmella come in and taking down Zelina Vega, which led to Andrade to roll up on R-Truth to score the win. So Andrade ends up winning the match. All in all, it was a short match. Then we had Asuka was being interviewed about her saving Naomi last week. Before Asuka got to even speak, Naomi comes in and says, why did she save? She tells Asuka, why did she save her last week? Asuka says she thinks the Iconics are mean, and that she can't stand their accents. So. And then Naomi says, she likes Asuka's attitude, and that Asuka definitely feels the glow. And what was funny was when Naomi said that, Asuka thought Naomi told her to go, and Naomi ends up correcting her, and Asuka, gets into it, and Naomi then suggests that the both of them go out to get some teriyaki together. So, and that was that. And, it was, decent backstage segment with them. Even though it was supposed to be an interview with Asuka. Then we had the main event, which was Brie Bella versus Maryse, and this was a waste of time. This was a waste of a main event. All it was Maryse, going out of the ring, whenever Brie wanted to take the upper hand on her in the match. Brie ends up getting on the mic, and she ends up saying to Maryse that she is a coward. And Miz gets on the mic and says, he goes, you think me and Maryse are cowards? And he ends up saying to Brie that she doesn't deserve to be in the same ring with Maryse. And he ends up going to say that, Miz ends up saying, that, that she doesn't deserve the match, and neither of the fans, don't deserve this match. And so the Miz ends up saying that this match is over, and that they will see Daniel Bryan and Brie at Hell in a Cell. And so they both end up walking off, Miz and Maryse, and Brie Bella, rushes and pulls Maryse by the hair, throws her, hits her on the ring apron, throws her back in the ring, and the match ended in a disqualification because Miz ended up pulling Brie out of the ring. Miz and Daniel Bryan go at it, and the thing was, Miz ended up, throwing Daniel into Brie. Brie was out, and while Daniel Bryan was there, he was asking for help. Then Miz ended up sending Daniel Bryan into the steps, and with that, it gave Maryse the upper hand on Brie. Brie then ended up coming back, and she laid some punches to Maryse. Miz ended up pulling her, apart, pulling her off of Maryse. Then we saw Daniel Bryan ends up laying the yes kicks to Miz. And what was really cool was, as soon as the Miz ended up, getting back to his feet, Daniel Bryan was ready to go to punch Miz in the face. And, Miz was like, no, tried to back off from that. And then Brie comes and punches Miz. And that led to Daniel Bryan end up sending Miz out of the ring. And that ended SmackDown for tonight. But, yeah, so there's hype for, Daniel Bryan and Brie versus Maryse and Miz. But all in all, this match, the main event, was a waste of time. It was a waste of a main event. So, but yeah. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of SmackDown. Thank you all for watching. Really interested in SmackDown's matches for Hell in a Cell. I think they did a much better job than Raw with their Hell in a Cell matches. So, yes, anyways, thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, which will be my Lucha Underground review tomorrow night. So I'll see you all back here tomorrow night for my Lucha Underground review.